Hey, welcome to my channel where I talk about my dolls, and that's literally it. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing an update of my Tiana room because, as I said 6 months ago, it definitely needed an overhaul. And the reason I'm doing it today is because it's at the time of upload, it'll be the 15th anniversary of Princess and the Frog, and it's also the 10-month anniversary of my channel. So they line up, even though it's not the 15th month anniversary. That would have been cool. And so it just seemed like the perfect excuse to come in here. And when I say excuse, I mean it motivated me to do a lot of work to this room that I needed to do. And when I show the before shots, you'll see that it was, I should be embarrassed, but at the same time, I'm proud of what I did after the before shots. So that's why I'm putting it all in one long video. So now let me go in and show you the room quickly, and then I'll show you the before shots, and then I'll explain what I did, even though you'll be able to see it all. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to show you what it's like to enter the room from the hall. But normally there wouldn't be all these blaring lights. I just wanted everything on so that you can see clearly everything that's in here, which I know is a lot, but I also did a lot of work to get it this streamlined. And yeah, just a quick show of the whole room before I show you the scary before shot. So here's a last tour of what the room looked like before the makeover. One of my biggest issues, and I have quite a few, are all the mirrors that I put behind the displays. I put them in thinking it would, show more of an angle of what's in there and open up the displays, but instead it does the opposite. And it just makes everything look kind of even more messy and cluttered than it even is on its own. Some of the stuff will look the same, but just trying to show you. I've even got the doors on, so when I come back, I'll take the doors off so you can see things better. And in there, this corner, my goodness, these things that are piled up, there's actually a display. There's those, like the walls have stuff on display, but you can't see it because of all the extras and the boxes I need to find storage for. And my window display has, I mean, looks cluttered at first glance, but this one needs to be cleaned up. And one of the bags has fallen, and I think I've just gotten lazy knowing that I was going to do this. And here's the above my bed, like my headboard. That needs to be cleaned up a lot too. And luckily I live alone. And then my desk. It's like I have it set up as a desk, even though when I did work from home, or when I do work from home, I don't sit at this desk like it's a proper desk. I need it so I can get this stuff out of here and make it look like a proper display. And even though I showed this all before, trying to give you one last glance, or even to have record of it for myself. And above this dresser, look how I've been living. So now that I've shown all that, let's see the new and improved version. And now here's a quick but a little bit more in-depth show of the room. I'll go in deeper later, but for now I just want to show a little bit more of the before and after. And now I can even get into this crevice to show it. I'll again show you better later if you care, but I just want to show something quick now, just to show it the entire difference, the scope, as much as I can in a quick shot. My bed, my scary bed before. I don't know if it's definitely better, but I don't know if people who would be still afraid to sleep in here. And I got the desk cleaned up. Everything looks so much better. Well, anything had to be an improvement. But now I'll go in and I'll show you more like the areas so that you can see how they've each improved. So this is how this wall looked before. And because of the shape of the room, this is the best I can get in there. This is like, I guess this is sort of the main focal point wall. And now, like I said, everything is easier to show because there are no more mirrors behind each display. And just everything has been minimized as much as I can for now. And now let me show you the window display. This is my window display wall. So much room for improvement. I can't believe I'm showing this. But hopefully it looks better now. This is a lot more drastic of a change, of course, because you can see my window shade now. And everything's been put back in a little bit better order. And again, I'm just doing a quick overview, and I will show more in a bit. And now let me show you the before of the bed, the most embarrassing part probably. Here's the clutter around my bed. You all must wonder how I'm not afraid to sleep at night. Everything that's there is very secure, I promise you that. It's been up for years. It just looks so unhinged. But I just sleep in here. It's not like I hang out. Where would I hang out? So hopefully this looks a little less cluttered now. I bet a lot of people felt like they were afraid of things falling on them. And they might still feel that way, but it's less scary now, I think. And of course, the desk, the area I was really excited to clean up. This ended up a lot better than I thought it would. And now let me just show the last wall before and after before I go in with more details. And then this is the wall sort of opposite or beside my bed. It's not just because of the shape of the room, but everything I have in here. It's really hard to show an optimal view, but that's just a mirror. Nothing I can do because it comes with the apartment. And I don't know how much all of this is going to change, but it'll be nice even for me to see how it all comes together. So here's the last shot, or the shot of the last wall. My dresser that I can now see on top of if I need to put my phone on there or something. It's now an option. All right, I'll see you for a second and then I'll come back to the whole room. See, originally when I planned to update my room, I was just going to remove all the mirrors in the detolf cases and replace them with wallpaper. But then when I was watching back the before shots of my room, I realized I need to downscale, like downsize everything that I have in here. It's okay to keep all the things. I just don't have to have everything on display, which is a very new experience for me. So yeah, I didn't just clean up and make the shelves look a little bit more presentable. I had to put away a lot of stuff, a lot of little. I guess I'm gonna call them little tiny knickknacks and baby things like baby toys and things only little kids. I'm just trying to keep the things that are of some kind of collector value, let's say, or display value. So that's why I ended up being in a complete overhaul in the room, way more than I expected when I started out. But like I said, looking at everything on camera was quite an eye opener, and I think it could still do with a little bit more of scaling down. But over time, I was used to doing the other thing, constantly putting things in there. And so that's why I think looking at everything really did a number on me. So yeah, now I'll go in and show you things a little bit more close up. So I'll treat this part of the tour as I did in the last video, only you'll be able to see more because I'll go in closer with there being no mirrors. I won't spend too much time on every single section, but I'll just, if there's anything that I changed a lot, I'll show you. But for this part, it's mostly the same, except I have more pins now. And after having to clean everything up, I understand why there are so many pin collectors, because it's a lot easier to accommodate a pin collection than a doll and everything else collection. And this part hasn't really changed very much, to be honest. The dolls up here, but I could still go in and show them just quickly. This is like the 12-inch, what we used to call classic doll collection, sort of like the Barbie size dolls. They would release them every year, and then they stopped a few years ago because they tried to minimize plastic packaging, and I'm like, I'm basically bent backwards trying to get in an angle because of the bed there. Okay, so now I wasn't really able to go in the last time because even though the wallpaper is very reflective, it's very shiny, it's not as bad as a mirror. So last time I had to stand at all these weird angles so you weren't just staring at me. And this is like my grail shelf. It's that's a jewelry box, and then back there, those are bookends. And I've talked about them in other videos, but just know that they're very rare, very hard to find, and I'm so grateful to have them. And I love these little like figurines and statues. So I tried to get rid of any of the ones that kind of distracted from them because they were cheap little plastic, almost like baby toys or just little knickknacks that you wouldn't really display with limited edition dolls. But I did. Oh, so there'll be some glare on these plastic covers. Not much I can do about that. And now you can see these Integrity Toys dolls. And this is the only princess Integrity Toys ever made. It could be, I don't know if it's coincidence that it's a black-owned doll company and the only princess they did was the black doll. These two versions, these are the blue and the green. Those are the official releases, and then I needed an extra, so I put her in a wedding gown because I wanted to make a custom with this blue gown, my favorite Tiana look. And down here is another really expensive rare piece, the snow globe. And then Got some other really weird, like rare. I was about to say weird, but I meant rare. I've tried to get rid of most of the weird stuff. And I just got this piece here, this Jim Shore storybook figurine. And I was going to wrap it for Christmas. I was like, why do I do that? That's so silly. Let me just add it to the space where I left open for it. Down here, some other rarer figurines. And back there is a pin that's autographed by Anika Noni Rose, the voice actor, but you can't see it past that dress. And these are the little pieces that are from her new ride. I did an unboxing on the channel a while back, so some of you may already be familiar with it from that, or if you're a Tiana fan of too, or Disney fan, of course. Okay, some more glare is going to be here because we got the plastic covers. Do my best not to get in there. Oh, and another thing I had when I collected the Disney limited edition dolls was replacing all their plastic rhinestones with Swarovski crystals, and that's what I did with her. She was the second 17-inch doll they released. And then these are, this is the Tonner dress for the dolls that I started with, the big ones. So you know what, let me go back to the Tonner dolls because I really should have talked about them more. I was too busy talking about the wallpaper. But anyway, these are, the doll in the green dress in the front, that's a Tonner gown. And then that's a Disney Store gown back there. So the reason I got 2 Tonner dolls was so that I could do the doll I was showing you over here, this little 2-pack. They've never done a platinum set for Tiana, and it's never going to happen because it was her 15th anniversary and it still didn't happen. And over here we got mostly Jim Shore pieces. So these are statues or figurines, you may call them. And so they're more collectible, more display friendly. And I'm lucky enough to have all the Jim Shore pieces, which continue down here. And there's some English Ladies Co. or something like that. That's the fine china company that does collaborations with Disney. Down here are some Danielle Nicole purses. Because before Loungefly got all the backpacks, these were the bags that were collectible for Disney. Down here, this might be a little bit messy because it's ornaments, but these ornaments are all special in one way or another. We got some Parks ornaments and sketchbook ornaments, so I can't take these out of my display. And then that tree topper there is extremely rare at this point. When it came out, I think people didn't know much about it. And so now it's really hard to find because things are always released in limited time. So these are the animator dolls. And if you look at the doll on the left, she was the first toddler doll they ever made, like movie accurate, if you look at her face sculpt. And I believe between her and Rapunzel, that's what inspired the Disney Animators collection line because especially Rapunzel, she was really cute and really popular. But not as cute as Tiana, if you ask me. And a lot of my dolls now are double stacked. So if you saw it on the bottom, there are 2 dolls behind them. There are 2 dolls behind here. These are the Jack Pacific dolls. And so that's what I was doing to make room. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about what else I did as I go around the room. Some animator, the bottom one is animator collection, and then this one is a new line called Once Upon a Story. And I did a video talking about 18-inch dolls that aren't American Girl, and I forgot Princess and Me. And I have one. So this is I think is it by Jack Pacific as well? I don't know, but I customize her so hard because this is, frankly, people think these dolls are terrifying. The Tiana one, if you think she's scary, you don't even want to see the other ones because the other ones are way scarier. And I'm very proud that I was able to open up a shelf for these Precious Moments dolls. They were released for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary. And as I go down, so I'm starting on the best Precious Moments Tiana because as I go down, just look at the color of her plastic, like her skin color. She's got melanin here. And when I go down, you're going to see that this is the only time so far that they've made her with an accurate skin tone or more accurate skin tone. So if you see down here, she's very pale. And this is a Precious Moment style. They do it with all the dolls, not just Tiana, but it's bad optically to do it to Tiana. So I think that's why they corrected it for the 50th anniversary. The one in front is a D23 exclusive, the Disney convention. They only made 23 pieces of this doll, so the one with the velvet dress. And I was really lucky that someone put it on eBay for retail price. I think because it was at a time when Tiana stuff wasn't made very much of. And so people didn't seem to care. And then this is a mini version of this doll, but more pieces were made because it was released in a set of 7 with other princesses. And again, I found that one on Mercari actually. And so this is the Wreck-It Ralph shelf. It used to have a lot more on it. Some little weird things like pens and keychains that I realized are just looking dinky and really cheapening my displays. So now I've just kept the pieces I find most essential. The two dolls in the front, they're customs of Disney Store dolls, and I just put them in the Mattel outfits. So these dolls in the back, as you can see, they're really like big-headed. They're cartoony. I'm not that these aren't cartoony, but just these were a bit more, what do they call it? Just oddly shaped. So I wanted to try the outfits on Disney Store dolls. And that's why she's wearing a halter. It's because it's just small for her. And then down here is sort of like what I call the story so far. Because Tiana has a lot of looks in the movie. I think she has 9. I could be remembering the number wrong because it's been a while since I've had to think about it really. So I did a shelf where I'm showing as many of her looks as possible. And by the way, I'm like crunched up against my bed, and that's why I'm just scrolling back and forth, or up and down, I should say. So yeah, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of her 9 looks, let's say. Oh, 6 when you count the little girl, her as a toddler, I should say. And now coming up here, I've had to figure out where to put all my Funko Pops, which were around my bed before. So I'll show you where they are. This shelf, this wall will get cleaned up a bit, but that's a purse from Aldo, and it's actually collectible and pretty, but I put because it's beside a book, it just probably looks like another one of my cheap weird things that I put on my wall. And this is a talking doll, but she doesn't work anymore. She's really old. Jack's Pacific doll. And because the dress she's wearing underneath is a little bit ugly, not very Tiana, I just put the Build-A-Bear Tiana outfit on her over top. I planned to alter it, but it just felt like too much work to open her, and so I just have it on her. It looks fine. It's no big deal. I'm convincing myself. Now this is the first Animator Collection Tiana doll. So when they made it an actual collection, this was the very first one. So this is the best one because whenever something's new, they do the best job the first time. And then this is another D23 exclusive. It's a 16-inch. I don't know if it's supposed to be Tiana because she's got Tiana, like mini Tiana Naveen with her. If it's supposed to be a little girl who's a fan, so she's dressed kind of like cosplaying as her, whatever it could be, or Disney bounding as her. But again, very rare. I was lucky to get on eBay for retail because sometimes Tiana stuff, people just think nobody's going to care. And here's a funny doll. This is a Pottery Barn plush. Pottery Barn has done a few Disney collaborations, and luckily they've included Tiana on all of them. And scrolling up, that's some Box Lunch stuff. They're kitchen sets. And Box Lunch, in the beginning, when Box Lunch started making all this Tiana stuff, I was in heaven. I was like, yes, you can always have my money. But now it's like, oh, okay, where am I going to put all this stuff? I'll show you where I put all this stuff. Okay, so come down here. It's just pictures and kind of, those are stickers, some makeup palettes. And I don't use the makeup, and I'm not that I'm against, I'm not afraid to use makeup. I just don't need to. I don't care to. I just wanted the makeup because Tiana's on the box. And like hairbrushes, like this is what I'm saying, where I just put some ridiculous, I just buy everything ridiculously. But this is a really good book, The Art of Princess and the Frog. So there's a lot in it, and it's a very special piece to have, and I will always display it. That's English Ladies & Co. again, the company who makes the fine china. And as you can see, she doesn't really have her proper skin tone. It happens a lot with Tiana. I don't know if you, as I'm going around the room, if you'll see that it's hard to tell what color or like what complexion she has because they're always changing her up. And I used to have all these little dangly, like little knickknacks, especially from Box Lunch around here. But I decided I'm just gonna put them in a drawer with some artwork, and I think I have to clean that up a little bit too. So this is okay. I'm going to come in and talk about this doll in a minute because she's really, really special, really big deal for me. But first, I'll just go across and talk about the Loungefly backpack. So this has become another hard thing to keep up with. And for a while, I think I was only missing one, and I wasn't devastated or anything. But now I've decided I've actually passed on quite a few and have needed to because the space is just it's too much. But it's like, I mean, I could say that about a lot of things in my apartment, but this one was where I kind of had to draw the line and just decide which ones are really worthwhile and which ones I'm just going to pass on because, prioritize, I guess you could say. And now I'm going to come down to this, what's called Playdate Tiana. So she's a 32-inch doll, I believe. Really hard to film here because I'm stuck on my bed. And she came in like a playline, a cheap dress, a little polyester dress. And I know I talked about her last time, but I can't not talk about her because I put a lot of work into her. And it's, when it's like a work of art, as they say, It just, you don't have to have the talent, you just have to have the love for it, because she turned out way better than I could have expected. What I did was I took a toddler dress. So this is from Disney Store, made a dress set for little girls to dress up as Tiana, like they're playing story time. And I just altered it. I turned it inside out and I redid all the seams so that it would fit the doll's body. And I did the same with the gloves. And because she has like spread fingers, I literally went in and sewed every line between her fingers. So it's not like I couldn't remove those, but as you can see, it just looks so amazing because they're not oven mitts. So they're actual like gloves. I mean, I did a lot more to the work than that, but that's the fastest way I can explain it. And yeah, she just turned out so pretty. And I have two more of these because, you've already seen and I've admitted, I'm very excessive. And that the dress pack that I bought came with two other dresses. So one day I'm going to probably, well, I say one day because I know I'm going to, but it's more a question of like when. And so this is just some kind of random stuff. This is someone on Instagram and YouTube has this horror slash Disney line that he does, and I like what his take on the Princess and the Frog was, so I had to have it all. And down here this is sort of like Facilier's corner, so her villain, Dr. Facilier. And just quickly, so this is where I threw all my Funko Pops that were around the bed before. I just kind of shoved them in between. I'll figure something else out, but for now they're out of the way. I don't think they're a bother to me. But back to Facilier, I have a lot of really impressive stuff from I wouldn't say his collection because he doesn't really have a collection, but pretty much anything, almost anything. There are quite a few things I'm missing actually. I get it because I love this villain. I feel like he's the one who brought Naveen and Tiana together, so it's almost like it wasn't his intention, but it's like thanks to him, Tiana and Naveen found each other, you know what I mean? So I really do like him and his song and his design. He's a really cool villain. I mean, most Disney fans love the villains, and I don't know if I had this last time I did my room tour. I don't think I would have yet because it's a pretty new piece. And even if I did, it wouldn't have looked this together because mirrors and I couldn't really go in. And so I talked about this big Facilier figure right here when I talked about my rare Tiana merchandise, because he was from the D23 that year. Another collector went and helped me get everything, and it was a long story and everything worked out, but it was really scary for a time there. And this is a limited edition doll, but I commissioned someone to make this outfit. I think her name is Stardust Dolls. It's been years, so it's been 5 years in fact, because it was from her 10th anniversary. And I commissioned her to do two outfits, I believe. And so anyway, this is the doll, but I had to cut her hair and I didn't do a very good job, but it's manageable, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. And up here is where I've put these baby dolls. As I said, I was trying to get rid of all the, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I'm trying to get rid of all the babyish things. So these are kind of a placeholder because Tiana had a new limited edition doll come out and it arrived to my American address, but I haven't had a chance to go and pick it up. So this is just me clearing a spot here, I think, for one of them. And speaking of limited edition doll, this is the 10th anniversary doll. So this is how she started out. So she's got a lot of hair put up into a bun. And then so this is the after of this doll here. And the Funko Pops came down, some art went up, and some, ironically, they're Loungefly pins, but they're Loungeflies owned by Funko. So it's still Funko stuff up on my wall. And so here's the top of the bed now. And as you can see, I put my American Girl dolls up here. There used to be so much stuff up here. And I have to apologize every once in a while for the angles because with my bed, I'm just kind of stuck. And so here are my little plush. And I haven't decided if I'm going to keep all these plush in here because it does look a little bit much, right? But I think it's fine, especially because of what it was before, that now everything may be worse than I think because of what I'm comparing it to. Like even these cushions on my bed, when I was going to take everything away, I was like, where can I put these cushions? I need this just looks like a lot. But so what I was saying before, so if you look under my bed, there are drawers that are now, a lot of my little Tiana knickknacks are in there. And I got really crafty. Do you see this headboard? If you look down, like underneath the shelves, it's hollow. So that's now a storage space because when you pull the bed out, there's like a gap, a pretty high gap, almost like a doorway, an archway. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to put whatever in there that I can fit. and I fit a lot. So that was, it was, I didn't plan that going into it, but all of a sudden I just had an epiphany like, oh, I can store things in there. And boy, did I. I'm just coming out to the other side and more plush. And I think I mentioned this in my last video too when I did the doll room tour. So here, look at how that's a Japanese toy from one of those machines. And that's why, well, I'm not saying that's why she's very light skinned, but you can see her next to another plush that Disney Store made. And it's just like, are these the same character? Or is that somebody dressed as Tiana? And coming up here, we got, this is also from Japan. Japan does have some nice stuff like these cushions here, these down here. And this was released with that collection. And this is the other outfit that uh, I'm gonna say I do think her name is Stardust Dolls, but I may be confusing it with the American Girl holiday doll. Yeah, I do. Wow, I'll have to look into it. But for now, that's the other outfit. And so the funny thing is, when you think about the 3 limited edition dolls that came out, it's the same 3 outfits. Well, sorry, that was handmade. What am I saying? This is a handmade outfit. But out of the 3 limited, all the limited edition dolls, I have the 17-inch dolls. It's the same 3 outfits that American Girl made for their Tiana. And that's the doll. Why I needed an extra Integrity Toys doll was because I needed to make this beautiful custom in here because that's my favorite Tiana look. And some more artwork. There used to be a lot more little knick-knacky things up here, but I had just cleared it all out, trying to make everything look a little less suffocating. And then here is the cast and crew yearbook. It's behind glass. It's not locked or anything, but it's very special. So I love just knowing that there's this sort of holy grail thing back there. Oh, and this is from Pottery Barn as well. This weird, what do you call it? A trinket box. And you can see it's the same kind of weird style. And then because I cleared out my desk, I got to put all these backpacks on display. And funny little side note, as I was clearing everything out, I took the entire weekend when I realized I was going to have to clean everything up, not just, or start streamlining the room, not just clear everything or dust everything. I canceled all my plans. I was like, I just need to stay home and get this done because it's a way bigger job than I first wanted to do. So I was in the middle, I had cleared out so much, hidden so many things in drawers and in my headboard, and figured out where to put all my backpacks. And then this one showed up because on Boxing Day, they put this blue backpack, which is my favorite dress, on sale for $20. So how could I not? And then I've just slipped all my Loungefly wallets down here underneath these risers that I have them on, just, creating a sort of, different levels. Because over here is the rest of the Loungefly backpacks. Well, that's not true. There's one more over my dresser, but this is basically, and I put, this is basically the rest of my collection. But they're not all Loungefly. It's like, I forget who else made some of them. I think there's a Danielle and Nicole, or maybe that's over above my window. And then I think these are purses, not backpacks down here. And then my random pair of Adidas shoes and my Princess and the Frog slippers. You know what? I don't think I showed them last time. So these were promos. These were released as a promo for the movie. They're for kids, but because they're just frog feet, they fit. And then my best friend went on a trip and she saw these. Oh, she put other extra princess stuff in them. But because it's Tiana, I don't know if you can even make out the Tiana-ness of it. Anyway, she's on the box. These are the Tiana themed shoes, but because it's Tiana, I don't want to wear it and ruin it. But I think I should because again, I'm just taking up space. I let everything take up space and I need to stop doing that. And then that brings me over to the last part, which is above my dresser. And this, it's a dishcloth down here that I'm using as a table topper that I got from the UK Disney Store back when they used to ship to Canada. And then, that's the final, that's a lenticular backpack. You can see the image changing when I go back and forth. Some purses, I think Hot Topic maybe, Loungefly, art from the parks, and I love that art. So even if I decide to cut way back on art on the walls, that's staying. And then up here, I used to have the baby dolls that are over saving space for the limited edition doll, but now it's the Disney Illy Forever fashion dolls. And down here, coming into just random things. So this thing here is a sticker. They're wall stickers, and I used to have them all over my window shade. If anybody, well, I guess you would have seen it in the before shot too. And I just decided to peel them all off and scale back. And now I think everything feels a lot more under control. And I hope I can keep it this way. But when I ordered the limited edition doll, and the funny thing is, I ordered the two limited edition dolls because I wanted to um, to make one of them over into the into her iconic look. But if I had started this before it was released, I wouldn't have ordered two. But that's gonna be no. It's not gonna be a hard habit to break. I'm definitely gonna break it because I used to have a bad habit of buying multiples of limited edition dolls because it's like part of me wants to support my princess because I feel like she doesn't get enough love even to this day. She gets more love, but still not enough. And the other part of me is just greedy, and I always want to see her in different looks and so show different things. So that's why I put myself in this mess. That was a lot of work to clean up, but worth it because it's still a lot. It's still a very impressive collection if this sort of thing impresses you. But I had, needless to say, reached my limits with what I had on display, and I've never been how do you say, a storage collector before. I always had to have everything visible. Like I want to walk in the room and be able to know every single piece that I have. I think because I lost toys a lot. Well, not lost. I think toys were taken from me as a kid because I was a boy who played with girls' toys. And so whenever, the idea of not being able to see my toys or dolls or whatever you want to call them as an adult scares me. But I think I'm reaching a good place where I can just have what I have, pick and choose what gets displayed. Like these are doubled up. There are dolls hidden behind here, behind this masquerade set. There's another doll, limited edition doll, like I said, multiples hidden behind her. Same with down here. And I didn't really talk about the 17-inch singing dolls here. They kind of, as the limited edition dolls got more popular, they stopped making these. I think because people were using these to substitute the limited edition dolls because the limited edition dolls became so hard to get. So for me, it's just weird to know that I have all these dolls kind of hidden in the back. Like, so this set here, there's dolls hidden back there, same down here. And I mean, I'm showing them to you, I'm zooming in on it, but it's not visible. It's not like a mess. I promise. But yeah, this is everything after I've cleaned it up. And I just want to thank everybody who stuck through all of this, especially seeing the before and after. If seeing that before didn't scare you, make you want to run away, you're a real one. Anyway, so I'll see you again for a second because I think this is everything I need to show. You know what? How about a little bonus content? I mean, it can't get any worse because here's my Tiana kitchen stuff. Epcot Center released these maybe 2 years ago now, and luckily it all went on Shop Disney or DisneyStore.com because I was able to order all of it. Even though I do not use kitchen stuff, I'm not a kitchen kind of person, it was just an excuse to display more Tiana stuff. I think the only thing that's ever been used is this rolling pin, and that's because my partner likes to make his own roti, like an Indian bread, I guess you could say. So this is now the peak of my Tiana insanity. And now I'll see you for a second. I think the biggest thing I learned through this experience of redoing this room was there were two factors as to why my room got so, I don't want to say out of control, even though it was out of control, but I think the two main factors that led to it was one, when I started collecting Princess and the Frog, I was collecting from a movie that's not very popular. And it's not that it's not very popular, but they didn't make a lot of merchandise for it. So it kind of forced me into buying all these stupid little things and, you know, little, as you would have seen in the before shots, little knickknacks that really don't have any value aside from having Princess Tiana's face on it. I had a can of soup. Like when I think about how I had a can of soup, because it's like I was so desperate for things to put in my room, I realized, yeah, it's because at one point there wasn't a lot of Princess and the Frog merchandise, especially compared to other princess movies or the Frozen movie. And then the other factor that I think really put me over was, for 2 or 3 years, we were all on lockdown. And while I was on lockdown, I was working a lot. And so I was home all the time, working from home. And so I was constantly adding to my space around me because it was almost like that was the only entertainment I had. And it sneaked up on me, but then all of a sudden there was a lot. And so, yeah, that's why it's like I'm here I'm trying to explain myself to myself, because I don't think anybody who's watching cares. But for me, I was like, how did this happen? How did I get like this? And so now I'm actually really happy with the whole less is more approach, and I think it just looks cleaner. And anyway, so like I said, it's the 15th anniversary of Princess and the Frog, and I celebrated by putting stuff away, but I do think it's a good thing. And yeah, I think that covers everything I wanted to say in this video, because I'm sure it was a lot longer. I mean, I don't know. I'm recording this before I put it all together. So if it was long, I can understand why. And thank you for hanging out with me again, and I will see you soon in the next one.